So yes, so the film started when Dan Wexler, who's one of our producers, and who also is a rare book dealer in New York, a successful rare book dealer in New York, he mentioned to Judith Mizrachi and myself over lunch one day about 7 years ago now, that he knew no one had ever made a documentary about rare books in the United States before, and he thought it was a film that should be made, and he thought it was a great idea to make a film about it. And Judith and I immediately, agreed. We clicked immediately. We didn't know that it had never been done. It never occurred to us, but as soon as he said it, it made perfect sense. We both, loved bookstores and books, and I had an aunt and uncle who were booksellers, and through Dan, we had gotten to know more about the rare book trade by working together on other projects. And so as soon as he said it, it made sense to us, but we didn't get a chance to really, begin the project for a number of years. And it was about 4 years ago that we really started the film. I don't collect in the sense of rare books, but I do buy a lot of books, but not necessarily valuable ones. But I enjoy buying used books, particularly in books, older books just to read, but that I like, I like the book too, but I don't collect seriously for value or anything like that. Yes, I don't read ebooks. Yes. I think my sense of them as fascinating people didn't change, because I knew booksellers from before, and my aunt and uncle and others, so they were just as fascinating at the end as at the beginning. But what did change was my appreciation for all that they do. And I just learned very much about, and much of that's in the movie, of course, about all these things that are important, I think, that they do, that I didn't fully understand when I began making the movie. Well, I'm not a bookseller, so I don't know. I should ask them, and they will be more up to date than I am now. But insofar as I can answer, I think the hip hop material, the journalism there, was just a very good example of what might be possible for the trade to represent more recent cultural phenomena in the arts and elsewhere, that newer generations and people who maybe also weren't always typically book collectors might come in and start becoming involved in. So I think we talked about zines from the 90s becoming kind of much more collectible, which is very recent. It's probably still somewhat within the realm of traditional, but I do think what's interesting is, as more and more things are only digital, what is it that's physical that still is produced a lot to be collected? So certainly books are still being published, that's good. But you could see less and less things being made that would be collected physically. But I think that the younger people, at least in the United States, see a value though in physical things too. So that's good. But what can I add one thing? But what I do think is what's fascinating is waiting to see what new collectors and new people will come up with that we haven't thought of yet. So that's always exciting, I think. Sure. I think one thing I didn't fully appreciate before I made the film, and that I think is in the film, but maybe I would only hope comes across even more by anyone doing a little more research, is that you really don't need to have a lot of money to start collecting. And you can create your own idea of what a collection is that's completely your own, and it may not involve anything valuable to begin with. But as long as it speaks to you, maybe it becomes valuable one day, maybe it doesn't, but that should be what's important.